Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mack with today's Daily Comedy News, a daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry, but I better stop talking this way or Mike Birbiglia will write my name down. I am having fun with this whole Birbiglia, MULANEY, Gianmarco, and whoever else thing. I was hoping to stir it up some more, but it seems like they've stopped talking about it, so I will too. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to the February 10th episode of this podcast. But while I was seeing if I could cause some more trouble, I found a discussion about a comedian named Mason James, who I was unfamiliar with until half an hour ago. Some people think Mason James is perhaps possibly maybe influenced by Nate Bargatze. Here's Mason James from a year ago doing a show for Don't Tell Comedy.
My name's Mason. It's great to be here. Some big news in my life. Me and my wife just had our first baby. So, very, very fun stuff. Very, very fun. Don't worry about clapping. Just a miracle. No big deal. It's fine. Very fun having a baby. The baby has made me realize I have to lose weight because he's 10 months old and he's tried to breastfeed me a lot. I didn't know what to do. I spanked him. Said, "You do not breastfeed, Dad. That makes Dad sad." I am trying to lose weight right now. Anybody trying to lose weight here? Cool. Awesome. Saw you guys walk in. More people should be responding right now.
They're in the same ballpark, but I don't get wigged about that. Like I've said a million times, I think Eddie Murphy is just doing Richard Pryor. But I was, 14 years old in 1983? So I loved Eddie Murphy's comedy, but he's clearly doing Richard Pryor, including the outfit. But I am picking up on one particular verbal tick in Mason James' delivery. Let me just play the last 4 seconds. Listen to how he hangs the words right now. This is very Bargatzean.
Saw you guys walk in. More people should be responding right now.
But again, we all have influences. You may hear me sometimes on this program say when I'm forward promoting, tomorrow on this very program, blah, blah, blah. That is a complete, utter, conscious lift from David Letterman. Stole his phrase, and it's why I'm doing it. You want to call it an homage? I don't know. I just like saying it that way. If David Letterman wants to go off and say that I'm ripping him off, please do, Dave. Nothing would make me happier than if David Letterman thought I was ripping him off. I wish I were 1/1,000,000th as good as David Letterman. And the other tick that I consciously do is I will do a yeah in the middle of resetting a story. I'll just make up something ridiculous. I'll do something like this. A chicken was crossing the road. Yeah, apparently it wanted to get to the other side. So that yeah in the middle there, that's a Conan O'Brien tick that I deliberately do. In Yellow Springs, Ohio today, Dave Chappelle and Jon Stewart will do a show together. It's a benefit for radio station WYSO. It's part of the WYSO After Dark series. Now, I'm laughing at this. The After Dark is cracking me up. Earlier today, I got a random email from Disney Plus saying that Mom's account has been updated to, mature audiences, whatever they call it, MA. And I just texted the whole family. I'm like, apparently Mom is watching Mickey Mouse After Dark, which I don't even know what that would be, but just I thought it was funny to get a mature audiences warning from Disney Plus. But WYSO After Dark features Dave Chappelle and Jon Stewart in conversation 7:30 p.m. tonight at Dayton's Benjamin and Marion Schuster Performing Arts Center. Taylor Tomlinson will have a comedy special on Netflix on Tuesday, February 24th, not too far away. It is her 4th for Netflix. Prodigal Daughter was filmed at the Fountain Street Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I remember telling you about that filming last summer. We've all almost lived long enough to actually see the special. I hope we all make it. But we've at worst made it to the trailer. There's a trailer. It's long. It's good. It's like the best trailer I've heard in a long time. I'm being very, very serious. It's going to take a minute and change here, but here's Taylor Tomlinson's really good trailer.
I really appreciate you guys coming to this new hour of material because I know it's a lot of God stuff and a lot of gay stuff, and my agents are nervous. I started doing stand-up in churches. They called it testimony, but I was getting laughs. Easter's a better story than Christmas, in my opinion. It's where all of our merch is from. You've seen it. Christmas is not as good a story. It's just a long walk to a barn. Jesus is barely in it. He comes in right at the end. He does zero magic. Jesus is basically the post-credits scene in a Marvel movie. It's trash. If you have depression, you have a pretty complicated relationship with death. You sort of look at death like it's the Phantom of the Opera. You're like, oh, that's scary. But then sometimes you're like, I mean, that side of his face is kind of hot. Coming out out as bisexual at 30 feels like saying to a waiter, by the way, it's my birthday. And they're like, cool, sing to yourself. You're a grown woman. So I started dating this girl who was so hot. I was like, oh my God, am I Pete Davidson? When I started dating women, it was the closest I'd come to feeling religious in a long time. My friends would complain about their boyfriends and husbands, and I was like, have you heard the good news? You don't have to live like this.
Now, if some of that content bothered you, send your letters to Taylor Tomlinson. I'm just hosting a podcast in the basement. The official description from the Netflixes: Taylor Tomlinson returns to her roots with a tight new hour about deconstructing your faith, processing religious trauma, exploring your sexuality, and confronting your fear of death. It's NBA All-Star Weekend. Tonight, it's the Celebrity Game. In the Celebrity Game, Mack Packer Keegan-Michael Key will take the court. That's on ESPN at 7 p.m. Eastern. Jimmy Carr was giving out some parenting advice. An audience member yelled out to Jimmy Carr, "What's your advice for parents with toddlers?" Carr gave a serious answer. He said, well, practical advice? You can half-ass it. Get an iPad and Netflix subscription, and you're off to the races. They'll be very happy. The crowd laughed at that, but Carr said, "You want serious advice?" The woman said, "Yeah." Carr explained, "Hard choices now, easy life later." That got applause. "I bet you love your kids, but you've also got to love who they could be, so it's kindness, isn't it? You want to be really kind to your children, but just not kind in the moment. What do kids want? They want to watch TV, not read books. They want to eat junk food, not vegetables. If you give into that, if you're kind in the moment, you've got fat, stupid kids. That's no good. You've got to be a little bit mean in the moment." At another recent show, a woman asked Jimmy Carr how she could deal with kids who were bullying her 11-year-old son. Carr did a bunch of silly jokes and then got serious and said, "Speaking as a parent, you can't helicopter parent. You cannot pave the jungle. You can just teach him to get through it. It's a very tough thing. On the upside, your kid is being bullied. That's terrible. I imagine heartbreaking for you, but at least he's not the bully. Tell him from me, you can't have an easy life and a great character. You can't have both. It'll make him stronger and better and more compassionate in the future." You know the actress Kathy Bates? I think she has really, really good taste. The great dramatic actor Adam Sandler was recently at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and Adam Sandler told a story about sending Kathy Bates the script for horrible Adam Sandler comedy The Waterboy. As Sandler told the story, "I remember we sent Kathy Bates a script for The Waterboy to play my mama. I don't know if I have the story 100% right, but apparently she kind of read the first page and threw it in the garbage." See, I love Kathy Bates. Genius talent, Kathy Bates. Unfortunately, Kathy, back in those days, surrounded herself with terrible staff. Sandler said the guy who works with Kathy picked it up and read it and said, "Kathy, I think you should read that script. It's pretty funny." So obviously the staff member has no taste in comedy. Kathy read it and decided to give it a shot. From there, she met with Adam Sandler and enjoyed spending time with him, which I could see. I think I would enjoy spending time with Adam Sandler. Like right now, I'm wearing a purple sweatshirt and totally non-matching gray sweatpants. I could see Sandler being like, "Hey, bro, cool outfit." Kathy Bates, who has good taste, told a similar version of the story on the Drew Barrymore show back in 2024. According to Kathy's version, she made it to page 12 before she threw it in the trash right next to my bed. On this very program, see, I stole that from Letterman. On this very program, on Sunday, comedian Drew Lynch joins us. Drew is appearing at Just for Laughs Vancouver. He's going to stop by. Tomorrow's show is more or less a normal episode. We'll look at what's going on at the Daytona 500. Bert Kreischer and Nate Bargatze are going to be there. At JFL Vancouver tonight, Ed Gamble is at the Rio at 7. Yakov Smirnoff, 7 o'clock at the York. Michael Longfellow's at the Rio at 9, Wally Barham at the York Theater. Annie Lederman has 2 shows at House of Comedy. She's doing 7:30 and 9:15. If we were at the festival tonight, if I were hanging out with Mike from the Letterman podcast and I was like, "Hey, Vancouver's a hell of a town. Let's go see some comedy shows," I would actually pick Yakov Smirnoff just to see what's going on there. That would be my pick at 7. At 9 o'clock, I think we go see Wally Barham at the York Theater. I like what I've seen out of Wally so far. It is Friday. It is time for the comedy stock market. Take it away, Burt Reynolds.
Comedy stock market.
Now, so far in 2026, the comedy stock market activity has been quite limited, but I've got a lot for you today. Let's start with 2 sales. We're going to sell John Mulaney and we're going to sell Mike Birbiglia. Do I need to tell you why? Do I need to tell you what team I'm on in this little fight? We're selling Mulaney and we're selling Birbiglia. And in support of the 2026 Comedian of the Year, Gianmarco Ceresi, let's buy even more stock. Eventually, we're going to own all the stock in Gianmarco. I am all in on this guy who did not rip off John Mulaney in the least, so we'll buy some Gianmarco. Let's also buy some Chris Fleming with that HBO special coming out soon. I've been a fan of Chris for a few years. We'll see how the rest of the country reacts to Chris Fleming. Let's buy Taylor Tomlinson. That trailer from earlier in the show was really, really good. There's nothing not to like about her. Very personable, very funny, looks great. Her special's on Netflix, not that other service that you do your special on when you're on your way down. So Taylor Thompson, let's scoop up some more Taylor Tomlinson. And let's buy some Mason James. Again, half an hour ago, I didn't know who that was, but I thought that clip was pretty funny. We'll throw a couple bucks on Mason James' career. We'll check back and we'll see how we do. Sal Mulaney, Sel Birbiglia, bye. Gianmarco, Chris Fleming, Taylor Tomlinson, Mason James. That's your comedy stock market for this week. Rhys Darby, you know him. He was one of the guys on Flight of the Conchords, and you know him from, what was it called? Our Flag Means Death. Well, he's going to be in the CBS comedy pilot Regency. Regency is a multicam comedy, and it's a historical spin on the classic multicam family sitcom centered around the upper-middle-class Tilbrooks as they navigate life, love, and scandal in 19th century England, okay? Rhys Darby will play Arthur Tilbrook, the head of the family home. Arthur is heir to a cheese empire, but prefers to think of himself as a guy's guy. This is kind of funny. He will go to great lengths to prove his masculinity, though his privileged upbringing reveals itself every time. Now, we talk about networks, so I clearly chuckle at the premise. I like Rhys Darby, but it's on CBS, so at the end of the day, it's a CBS sitcom. If you told me this one was going somewhere else, FX, streamer, I might be a little more into it. Not Netflix. If it was on Netflix, I'd assume it'd be 6 episodes and canceled. That sounds like it could be funny. Out today, All Access Comedy, hosted by DJ Demers. It'll be on AMI TV. All Access Comedy is a stand-up special with comedians from the disability community coming together to celebrate their unique outlook on life for a packed audience of all abilities. Comedy comes from such topics like, what's the appropriate reaction when someone pets your guide dog? I'm familiar with DJ's comedy. I play him a lot on the Weekly Comedy Thing, which is the show I host on the Live One app every week. The show is free. The app is free. Live One. Look up the Weekly Comedy Thing. In fact, I think in this week's show, I've got some DJ Demers if you want to hear what he sounds like. And congratulations to Joe Coy. Yes, Joe Coy had his hand and footprints enshrined in cement at the Hollywood Chinese Theater. Joe was supported by friends. I assume they're friends, or maybe they just wanted their mentioned in Daily Comedy News, but regardless, Tiffany Haddish, Martin Lawrence, Gabriel Iglesias, and some others showed up to support Joe Coy at the event. Now, you might be like, John, Joe Coy, remind me who that is again? I'll remind you. One time, Joe Coy hosted the Golden Globes, and he just told this horrible, horrible, mean joke about Taylor Swift that Taylor did not appreciate. Here, let's listen.
As you know, we came on after a football doubleheader. The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift.
And that is your comedy news for today. All right, tomorrow, Daytona. Sunday, Drew Lynch stops by. Catch you here tomorrow.